Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and today, in partnership with legendary writing force that is Michael Sidgwick, we want to talk to you about the rigours of being under the employ of the WWE. Now, in case you've been living under a rock for the past 6 months or so, there have been countless examples of talent requesting releases, complaining online about conditions and treatment, and even more directly, just calling out their employer for not knowing what to do with them. Now, it used to be that the WWE was the be-all and end-all for wrestlers, the holy city upon which everyone made their pilgrimage, and WrestleMania was like the shining light from above. Yet while this year's WrestleMania was certainly a huge high point for fans and the chosen few wrestlers destined to make good on their promises, it was still a hugely bloated event, and one that was even marred by threats of walkouts. Now, Sasha Banks attempted to walk out over Mania weekend, feeling let down by the WWE's decision to strip the Boss and Hug Connection, terrible name there, of the women's tag team titles that she effectively helped dream into existence. I mean, Luke Harper had astutely followed the successful precedent set by Tye Dillinger in publicising his desire to leave. He appeared to thank WWE in a heartfelt message, and it just reads like a challenge. It doesn't read like he was being thankful. He's saying, yeah, come on then, release me, do it. Alexander Wolfe was a bit more cryptic in his Twitter message. Now, he actually has landed in NXT UK, but his goodbye WWE sign-off seemed like a desperate plea from someone who just wanted to go anywhere that wouldn't just posit him as a security guard. I mean, imagine that. Imagine that you're going to be told that you are the next big thing to be shown on TV, and then you end up as Shane McMahon's personal private security force that gets torn to shreds by The Miz. Ouch. At present, the WWE is in a state of inversion. Now, usually we hear about the company cutting people who desperately wanted to stay, a spring cleaning, if you will. Now, though, it's the other way round, with voices calling out to be let go. However, should we really be surprised? I mean, the WWE simply cannot push every single performer at the same time, yet they seem to promise that they will. I mean, look at the call-up situation in NXT, plucking the next would-be stars and then just plonking them into a already swollen roster. How is that ever going to work in practice? Now, those that have been called up from NXT to the main roster have tasted success in that brand, and that success has actually created an expectation amongst fans. And when you've got an infrastructure and a flagship where virtually every character is meant to be championship caliber, how can that be possible? You used to start at the bottom and work your way up, but under this new framework, people debut at the top and then plummet to the bottom. And it makes sense on paper that you become a small fish in a bigger pond once you're done swimming with the tadpoles. But in practice and in audience expectations, not seeing the likes of Ricochet and Aleister Black leap to the top of the main stage is strange. And even worse for the people like Andrade, whose ethnicity was meant to be something that the WWE was going to use as an inroad to the South American market. And yet now what's he doing? However, even when these talents win, they seem to lose. They lose what made them so popular in NXT, and through scripted promos, overworked matches, and underbaked attempts to get their gimmicks all packaged nicely for people to paraphrase and purchase, we end up with the same tired roles simply being filled by newer faces. As a result, wrestling talent the world over are learning to say no, or at least no more. I mean, look at the likes of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks as a perfect example. Both opted not to sign with the WWE earlier this year and are incredible draws in their own rights. And within the WWE, I mean, you've got the Revival, Tye Dillinger, Mike and Maria Kanellis, The Club, Dean Ambrose, all have officially or allegedly requested a release in some form or another and made very public mention of this across their social media platforms. They are all acutely aware that progression is impossible, that investment is futile for fans and talent alike. Beyond WrestleMania 35, which we'll get to in a minute, when did you, as a WWE fan, last share the triumph of a main roster superstar? It seems that triumph itself isn't even the plan, and even if it was, sorry pal, Vince McMahon just bumped you off of the show. Andrade is a good example of this. He was building momentum in this firecracker program with Rey Mysterio, and it's now gone. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode turned heel on the post-WrestleMania Raw, but then Gable moved to SmackDown in the shake-up, and it's gone. EC3 was managed by Drake Maverick on a post-WrestleMania SmackDown Dark segment, teasing a partnership with this guy. And then he shows up without him by his side on Monday, and Braun Strowman has legitimately killed him. And it's gone. It's almost inexplicable, and nothing is ever given any time to develop. It's immediate results, or it's immediately in the bin, at least to the WWE. And they've created this sort of gridlock. Every named act, the genetically superior moneyed heel, the extraordinary luchador, the demon, the heart on the sleeve babyface, the massively muscled MMA marine, all are wildly different, right? Yet their characters are almost indistinguishable in quality, appeal, and purpose within the WWE. And it's all because consistency is key to the stockholders. It's not about one man or woman breaking the curve, it's about bringing everything in line so no one is rocking the boat. And now, in an entirely cynical way, you could argue that we were given those 3 big wins at Mania just so the WWE could instill a new order once more. It's out of the hands of MMA superstars and back into the hands of WWE lifers, something that Fox is probably very happy to deal with. But what about Kofi? Well, here's the thing, right? As much as we helped make Kofi Mania happen, originally it never was going to. For all intents and purposes, it was meant to be Ali Mania, if that was ever going to be a thing. And the fans willed Kofi into the main spotlight, and my God, did he deserve to be there. But the WWE had no plans to actually put a title on him. And it makes you think, next year, Becky probably won't be headlining Mania. Kofi might not even be in a singles match and will probably be taking on the Viking lifestyle choice, or whatever they're calling themselves at this point. The reason for this, though, is simple. Because things tend to go backwards, not forwards, after huge victories in the WWE. And as said before, it's not about bringing the group up, but reining in the shooting stars so they become part of the curve. Just look at this, for example. Shinsuke Nakamura went backwards following WrestleMania 34. Nia Jax went backwards. Jinder Mahal went backwards. Bray Wyatt entered Mania 33 as WWE champion. And I mean, well, to be honest, he's actually in a better position now than he's been in ages. But he only got to the funhouse by going through the doghouse. It's almost like WWE's global raid has backfired spectacularly. It's stockpiled a nuclear arsenal of talent, but it offers no way of justifying this spend. And this isn't just me blustering on. Look at the dipping views. Look at the huge swell of people complaining online. This is the meme era of the WWE. And the roster is just sick of being the punchline. Something needs to change. But frustratingly, it won't. Or if it could, it can't. Think of it like this. The WWE has all the money it wants to buy all the shiny marbles it can, yet it doesn't have the pockets to carry it. And so what it does is just stick each and every new purchase anywhere it can. SmackDown, Raw, NXT, NXT UK, main event. To the spoiled child, it doesn't matter who's buried in the mix or where they go, as long as it has ownership. It's not even about the game at this point. It's about the fear of other people even playing, so it takes all the best pieces. Yet in its pursuit to own, it loses ownership of the individual and actually gives more power to the likes of AEW, TNA and other promotions, as these pockets, they're going to split eventually. And then it's going to be a good old-fashioned free-for-all. And as long as the mystique and the money remains, the WWE isn't going to stop this method. It will tell any newcomer that comes through their doors that they could be the next big thing. But as soon as the ink is on their bit of paper, they're making promises, the exact same promises, to the next person in line. In an effort to keep everyone sweet, they are making those lost in the crowd sour on the company. And if the WWE was being honest, it simply wouldn't be in such a rush to hoover up talent. Instead, it would let what it has gestate, find what works, trim the fat if needs be, as harsh as that might sound, and invest in talent for more than a bloody month. If Triple H's speech at the Hall of Fame is anything to go by, they are so painfully aware of independent promotions and how much they are trying to keep the ball in their own court through snarky put-downs. But if this company continues to glut on talent without offering any crumbs, it is going to starve the main roster of meaning, satisfaction, and ultimately, patience. And there we go. Those were our thoughts on if the WWE was being honest about unhappy talent. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below, because as always, this is a dialogue and I would love to hear what you guys think. But speaking about being unhappy, let's have a little quick chat about that. I hope you, whoever you are, whatever you are getting up to right now, are well and treating yourself as fairly as you possibly can, both physically and mentally. And if you have any problems, if you're struggling with life, it is okay to take a step away from stuff. Get a bit of perspective, get a bit of a breather, mentally just step away from the situation. Because in our society, everyone just pushes that success is the only way to be, well, successful. It's simply not true. Just be fair to yourself and just say, sometimes I'm gonna need a bit of help because I trust you, because this is the thing, I promise you, people do actually care. Trust me. Anyway, a massive thank you to Michael Sidgwick for helping me write this, and to Phil Chambers, who's probably going to be editing this. Hi Phil, hope you are well as well. You can go follow me at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter, and as always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome, and never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!